Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, as it was in the beginning, is now, ever shall be. World without amen. Father Sky, Mother Earth, Holy Spirit, bless us indeed, enlarge our territory. Put your hands upon our shoulders and keep us from evil, so we will do no harm. And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome aboard to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei Al Bob. I am your griot, your Sensei Al Bob. And it's good to see you. It's winter, definitely, snowing and cold. This is the first sunny day we've had in about a week. So I have been able to walk up the hill because it's like an ice skating. So today was sunny. It started out really sunny and got to be about 40 by 9. So the ice kind of loosened up so I could drive out. So here I am, thinking of you, my cadre. And remember, don't we believe a word I say, right? And this show is not for children. So all of you grown-ups who have infantile paralysis of the gray cells, not of your bag of water, you should turn off, right? And, no one under 21 should be watching this unless they are there with their parental unit and that you're going to talk about what I say. So whenever I meet people who have kids, I say, so what are you telling your kids about what's going on? And what do you mean? They're always playing games. Well, so here we are, right on the precipice of the big splat, right on the reset, right? And the reset, we have them all the time, about every 10, 20 years. We had the sinking of the Maine, which we did, when they dug that boat out of the water years later, they saw the explosion was from the inside of the boat out. And all those sailors, meaning whoever, someone either, through their incompetence or someone put something there to blow and sink that boat. And it was one of the oldest metal, gunboats in the U.S. Navy. And we were in a sprawl of building new ships, becoming a world power. That's what you did to be a world power. You build ships. Now you build nuclear weapons on the tips of ICBMs. And so we had that. And, before that, we had the Indian Wars. And before that, we had the Civil War. And before that, we had the War of 1812, right? And then before that, we had the Revolutionary War. And before that, we had the French and Indian Wars. So we've just been a warring nation, right? And in 1871, one reason why, with one of the things of Reconstruction Lincoln wanted to do was to reconstruct all of America, not just the South, because he realized that it was a socioeconomic issue of caste and class, and he wanted to break that. And the rich guys said, oh, good, now that, we're over, we want to have, this thing where corporations have the same rights as individuals. So, meaning we're incorporated, we can do what we want. And I, as the individual who owns this corporation, because it's a corporation, will not be blamed for anything, right? So that's the betwixt and the between. We're always in betwixt and between, right? And I just finished reading, Gilgamesh, and I just finished reading Jason and the Argonauts, right? And both are about exactly what we're going through right now, and go read the Argonauts, and not the comic book thing or the movie thing, because they kind of lose the drift of the whole story. And the whole story is that the city-state that Jason came from, invented a democracy, and then they had a republic, and then they had a dictatorial leader, right? Kind of sound familiar? And so they then, and every hero that would step up, like Lincoln, would end up dead, just like Caesar ended up dead, And why did Mark Antony or Brutus, why are they so famous? Because they were, insurrectionists and started the empire all over again. And that's what, the people who want to reset, they want the empire all over again, right? And that's what all these wars have been about, like we need, and it's what the Spanish American War, the First World War, the Second World War, Korean War, Vietnam War, 9/11, all these wars about wanting the empire. Well, there's no one here and no one's saying anything. And even number one there, AI hasn't given me a thumbs up. Hey, AI, give me a thumbs up. And I'm telling you guys, I kind of was talking about this all summer, saying that our political structure is a, you ever watch Mary Hartman? It's a soap opera. And what went down in the last few weeks, the election and then all the rest is a scripted thing. You look at how both I couldn't even listen to JoJo. I mean, he was talking they both are like third graders who can't read, because they're reading a script. So we have to do what Jason does, and he took this 40-year journey to get it was hard to get that fleece. And he had to go through this thing called the crushing rocks, right? And he stopped off at a king, and a king said, listen, you have to forget everything you think you know, right? You have to go with your intuition. And I'm going to give you a dove. And just before you go through the crushing rocks, you let the dove go. And the dove will fly that way. And if the dove makes it through, go right after, right? If the dove gets crushed, don't go through. Go get yourself some more doves. Hey, Morgan. So I'm talking about Jason and the Argonauts. You ever read any of Greek mythology? Because Greek mythology is talking about what is going on right now. And if you go, I can't read that stuff unless it's in a comic book form, go read Joseph Campbell, because he was my griot. I sat at his feet just like good old, I wish the guy who did Star Wars. He spent a whole year with Joseph Campbell, and Campbell told, what is that guy's name? All the stories, and then basically that guy put it together to make Star Wars, straight out of the Greek, mythology. Oh, there's three of you there. So that's where we are right now. We're at that place of the betwixt and between, where we have to make a choice. And pretty much everyone that I'm, talking to, all my friends, again, if you want to get a hold of me at thedudeawake42@gmail. And that way we can have a private conversation. Great Comics and Campbell. Comics and Campbell, a great mix, right? I mean, comics are, I love Marvel. I love the guy who did that because he was, Captain America is exactly what is frigging going on. Hail Hydra, And World War II, German people bombed into Stone Age. Hydra, through Operation Paperclip comes in, and we got 70,000 Nazis coming into our government in 1946, and all over the world. And why do you think the world is the way it is? These guys, the Third Reich, first it was the Roman Empire, then the Holy Roman Empire, then the Third Reich. And they haven't given up, right? But we're in the betwixt and between. We're between the Piscean age and the Aquarian age. And things are changing seriously, right? So you, the individual there on the other end of the screen here, you have to make up your mind of being who you are, being true to yourself. Yeah. What is it's amazing. They didn't want you to say Philip's last name, so you put it on there. Philip's last name, Mr. Phillips. Oh, how you get around that? Philip Cranium, right? Philip K. Cranium. So that guy, he knew what was going on. He was PKD. Yep. So he pretty much nailed it. Everything he is coming to pass because he understood about the betwixt and between. He was living it just like we're living. Oh, the pandemic. Well, 1917, 60 million people died of it. Just my mom went off to Thanksgiving at her great aunt's big mansion out in the woods. And the big snowstorm, up near Buffalo, snow. She didn't get back till Easter, right? And her great aunt was really rich and had her own electricity, right? And had her own everything. She was happy that, And so when my mom went back to high school, she was going to graduate high school, and everyone in her class had died of the pandemic. Now that's a pandemic, right? So what we got is, who knows what we got? It's definitely people get sick. I mean, around me, people have, died. And you know what so people don't wear masks around, right? Especially in the little not even towns, little holler coffee shops. And I sit way over in the corner, and I wear my little mask on my ear, right? Like a earring, right? But like yesterday, so the lady whose husband owns the place has art everywhere. And so this other person was looking at everything and was leaning over, leaning on me to look at this thing. I said, wait a minute, and I said, come on, 6 feet, get back, and she, no, it's a fake news, so I wear my little mask just to keep other people happy. And when I'm in areas where they're not, I wear it as an earring. But I do wash my hands a great deal. Right? So that's all. And plus, I live out in the woods. I see no one. I mean, maybe every, that was 2 weeks ago that happened, I've been there since, I don't go anywhere because I live in this holler. And if I walk to my neighbor's house that has a patio and Wi-Fi, I have to go up this big hill. Well, when that big hill isn't covered in ice, not a problem. When it is, I don't go up that big hill, And the other way to get out, again, I'm in a holler, so I have to go up that way, and that too. Just a dusting is worse than a couple inches. A couple inches, my 4-wheel drive gets through it very nice. But when it's ice, no. So I have to wait till it warms up. So I had to wait, good. Last time I went out and about last time I talked to you guys, probably was Friday, right? So it snowed Friday night, just a dusting, right? And then it got really cold Saturday and was gray, every day until today, Wednesday, right? And then we had on Sunday we had 3 inches of snow. Well, then one of my neighbors was nice enough to drive down the holler, and he's got the double wheels, on his big truck, and he's got 4-wheel drive. So he drove all the way down and turned around in my front yard and went back up, and so he squished the thing. And that day it rained. And so that kind of got rid of it, right? And then he was, and this is what I'm talking about, good neighbors. He came back with his front end loader because that's a tippy top where the sun never hits. It was all ice. So he came with his thing. He left it a few hours. He threw some salt down on it with his big truck and then came back with a front end loader and scraped the ice away. And that's what a good neighbor does. Never even saw him, but I know it was him because of the, he's got double axle on his truck, and that's what the tire looked like. And he got a front end loader, right? So that's what a good neighbor does, right? And that's why I live where I live, because everyone knows me, and I've been there. Alcohol sanitizer. Yep. And that's the new normal. And again, that's the reset, right? Go. There's a YouTube channel called Truly Graceful. Lady does great shows. Really, she's a researcher. She went to school and she researches everything, edits it down, and makes a fine, amazing show, right? Where I just kind of do what I do, right? She's really good. And then there's an Truth Media, I think, is another really good show, husband wife team, and they again make a really good show together. And me, I do this, and there are a bunch of other, Jimmy Dore and Dark Journalism, and a ton of other people who do, Joseph P. Morgan, did you ever read any of Joseph P? What's Joseph? He's a great historian of the 20th century, but he goes all the way back. He is of the same ilk, but more of a scholar as David Icke. Joseph P. Farrell, that's it. JPF. Go read those guys' books, right? And so all the information's out there. So what's interesting, I went back to my channel. I hadn't looked at it in a long time to see if, that's where I can look at the analytics. And basically, I have almost 1,000 shows, but everything that, was before 2020, mid 2019. I started in September 2018, and 2019 September, all the shows are gone. And I kind of, what happened to those shows? Oh, you don't have more than 1,000 subscribers. We don't want to waste our time with you. You won't let us buy you and put you on the front of the algorithm. But you can keep dribbling on. That's good. And it helps our algorithms. So, like I said, you guys better start putting my shows on thumb drives. And there was somebody from Canada who did that for me, right? The first 50 or 100 shows I did, they put it on thumb drives. Really nice. And he was the guy who drew that amazing picture of when he was 11. And it was exactly the description of, I think his name was Dragon. And for some reason, he popped off my channel. And that's before I learned how to pop people off, right? And he got, like a little, and then I found that I couldn't find that amazing picture that he drew. And this is when I was still living at the school, and those thumb drives. I'm pretty careful about stuff like that. And it wasn't where I thought it was. It's like, So the other lesson of Jason the Organist is like to let things go, right? So that's, I could hold a lot of things. And I talk about stuff, talk about my childhood and stuff like that. And I talk about other people, but I try to let it go. And after a while, it's let go. And then I can, look at it for what it, all the positive sides of it, like John. I only try, and that's why I look at him as a friend. People, oh, how can you? Some guy was bad mouthing him, and I just had to bop him off because he wouldn't shut up. You know, you can find something bad about everyone, and the trolls find things bad about me, and so you just got to let things go. Let's see what watched since old hag story. So Morgan, was that was on John's channel, right? And then those stories went, and that's what's hard to believe. I told that story on John's channel, and close to 300,000 people looked at it, right? And now I have, so it's obvious it's about algorithms and how. And I know nothing about any of this. When you go look at John's shows, and you go to that, there's the title and then this like description. Well, he puts in a whole bunch of code in there, so he is interacting with the algorithm somehow, and so he can get 200 people watching his show, making bacon, talking about his laundry list, and yes, right. So did you, once I started Dreamy Dreamland, did you start watching that from the early days? So, what's coming down? I would say that the internet is going bye-bye, because you look at India kind of, let's see, I don't watch him. Okay. So you've just been watching me. Okay. So, and thank you for your watching, Morgan. I love you. Yes. So, but, I call John the canary in the coal mine because he really represents of what's going on. Right. So anyway, so I started Dreamy Dreamland September 8th, 2018. Right. And I've been pretty much doing 2 or 3. When I was at the school, I was doing like 6 shows a day because I could. Because I got John a roommate who is Mr. Everything. He put an amazing heat system, hot water, and an amazing wood stove in the basement. And he put Wi-Fi better than Cox cable. Right? And John hasn't had to pay for the internet since then. And John couldn't stand the guy because he was so competent and so understanding about everything. So he left, and I got him to rent another house, which was better, meaning the school was cool. He had to get out of where he was. And so I said, sure, go there. Yeah. And this was when John took one of his journeys and was gone for a couple of weeks. And I knew John would like that. And I said, money, right, John, money. The guy was paying him like over $1,000, I think, just for the basement. And John thought that was great. And then he saw how competent the guy was. I mean, the guy wasn't asked or didn't make a deal. He wouldn't take any money from John when he did all this stuff. But John is, he didn't give back the internet. John has had this amazing internet connect, for at least a whole year and a half, give or take, maybe a little more. And then the guy, I got him into a house that was perfect for him, the one he really wanted, but it wasn't ready for him. He needed to stay at John. He needed to get out of where he was. He stayed at John about 3 months, and then this other place opened up, and I got him in there, and bingo, bango. And that's how it works. But so we're in the betwixt and between, and so you just look at, influenza. What is influenza? Influenza is the Spanish flu. It's still with us. And this thing that we have, the 19 is, if you go to Cliff Hyde's channel, and back in January, before anyone even was talking about it, oh, something weird's happening in China. He said, no, this is going to be a worldwide pandemic. It is a biological weapon. It's been designed. He took it apart. He described it. He showed month by month what would happen, how many people would get sick, who would die, blah, blah, blah. And he explained it very clearly and he showed all the stuff you could, the herbs and the different things that could make your life better. Right. And that's basically it. If you have a good immune system, you'll just get the flu, no matter what age you are. People who are really old and have diabetes and all this, they don't have a good immune system, So, and Big Pharma is making buku, trillions of dollars. So there's that, right? As oh my God, and then that sticks everyone home and everyone has to make when you're breathing with a mask, and so you can't get enough oxygen. Of course, you're going to have lung issues. And then, we had the Donald to contend with, and the chaos. And he was scripted. He was put there, just like JoJo was put there, just like Camel was put there, just like we had the best, legislators money can buy, all the way down to the dog catcher. Let's see. I should call it the between two. Yeah, well, it's a Greek term, betwixt and between, right? And then the Romans had it. Every time there was a reset, there was a betwixt and between, and that's what we're going through right now, right? And at 30 minutes and 30 seconds, I'm going to say goodbye because I got a bunch of things to do. And I have no idea what the weather's going to be. So I got to, make sure I get everything done today. Let's see what the weather's going to be. Come on. Do. Well, it's going to snow tomorrow. 29 degrees. Friday, sunny. 20 degrees. Saturday, sunny. 23 degrees. Sunday, it's going to rain. So I might get rid of that snow. Oh, God. All next week, from Sunday to Friday, it's going to rain. And snow. Hey. So, yeah, I got things to do. So it's 28 seconds. So, anyway, but it's same as it ever was. There's no reason to be upset or scared or weirded out by any of this, as long as you are who you are. Blessings to you. I love you too, guys. Yeah, when the feed gets interrupted, that means somebody's watching and doesn't like what I say. They're not getting rid of me, but the internet is going by and we're going to then have good old Mr. Elon Musk internet. It'll be the Elon Musk, who's the guy who sells you everything in a box, and Mr. Billy Boy. Those three guys are going to own the internet. So that's why I'm out in the middle of the woods. I have no anything, and I really enjoy it. And whenever I get a little, I want to go out and do something. I want to go, at least 10 miles to the coffee shop, but I've been there forever, right? And the other place, which is a little closer, isn't quite as nice or have the internet or have any of the above. It's but the guy, of all the crappiness of the place, he does one really good, great coffee, and his wife makes these amazing cinnamon buns. So I have one cup of coffee and one cinnamon bun, and I just kind of sit there because there's this window that's far away from everybody else. Now I don't know why I don't sit over in that corner, but the sun hits it all day long, so I'm like a cat in the window. And the wood stove is not that far from me. So, I mean, I can still feel the wood stove. And so there is a blessing of that simplicity of life that I'm experiencing. And, I'm getting used to it. This is after 20 years of being out in this woods, this is the first winter I've been here for the whole winter and not in somebody else's house, right? And that's for me to get used to this, that it's not so bad. It's not like I'm, it's just a ritual. And that's another thing. You have to get used to the ritual of your life and not get into the habitual of your life. The ritual is blessing everything, right? Being there, being awake, being yourself, right? Being conscious, right? So that's why I love you guys. And that's why I constantly come and put the show on for you, because I know it helps at least one person. I know it helped Morgan today, right? And there was at a certain time about 8 of you watching. I don't know why you don't kind of get into the conversation. I would like that. But anyway, gotta go. Start up the car. What are they talking about?
Biden and Dr. Joe Biden have moved toward the West Front. They're having a brief ceremony there. They're heading to be in place for the pass-in review. Congressman Ryan, I hate to sort of bring up unpleasantness, but I have to. You're heading up the security review of what occurred at the Capitol. What can you tell us about that?
Nothing new. This was kind of this event today was taking up everybody's energy and attention and time. So we're continuing to review the videos and the films and draw connections. The FBI and U.S. attorneys are obviously very, very active. But we begin, I believe, tomorrow with some reviews of some of the subcommittees that oversee the people who were involved here, the agencies that were involved here, Capitol Police, Sergeant at Arms, and others. And we're just gonna, we're gonna work with.
How do these people just walk through the door? And this event on the 6th was advertised. Right? They should have known. Oh, we didn't know. Sounds a lot like 9/11. Oh, not Kamala. What's her name? The lady who's in charge of Georgia's security, Dr. Rice. She said, who would have thought of? Well, she had just been given a paper by Brookings saying the biggest threat is people hijacking aircraft and flying them into buildings. I would have never thought of it. She had just received, and she and Dickie Cheney, why would you ever want your first name to be Dick if it was really Richard? I never understood that. Anyway, so they said, "Oh, we didn't know nothing here." And Rumsfeld was at the Pentagon, and he was told that a building flew into the World Trade Center, and then half an hour or less later, a second. So that's pretty obvious. This is a terrorist attack. He had total authority to take planes out of, to close it all down, and, they didn't do that until after the last plane crashed, until they, and the target they really wanted, the Capitol, didn't get hit. And this Capitol, they had all those people in there. They had everyone, and nothing, so they crapped on the floor a little bit, How did they get in? They were let in, just like the 9/11 guys were let in. The FBI knew about it. There was this one FBI guy who was going on and on and on about these guys going to flight school. And he basically was told, shut up about this or else you're fired, this is nothing new. This has been happening for all the time because we are in the betwixt and between, and we have all the universe, time, the Big Bang, and we're going in a straight line. No, we're all here, the beginning, middle, and end. I'm the Alpha and the Omega. That's us. We're in the beginning and the end all at the same time. It's just our ego that fills and fuels this thing of time. Once you let go, once you love, once you serve, love's co-creation. That's all there is. Everything else is an illusion. And because we have free will, we're given. That's why this is the Garden of Eden, if you haven't figured it out. This is our sandbox. So, I love you guys. I got to go. Oh, it's going to leave at 30:30, and here it is 36. 36:36, I'm gone. Up to do errands. Do. Here we go. I love you.